Action.
What's up, guys? Netman Podcast back here with you tonight, episode 16. We have our good buddy Dean Yoder from Millertech Batteries. We're going to talk everything lithium batteries tonight and why you should own them and maybe a little bit of fishing. Yeah, Aaron, what you been up to, buddy?
Just work and just got back from New York. Dude, I'm telling you, the fishing up there is like night and day different than in Ohio.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
I caught like 6 fish in Ohio in 3 days. And then I go up there and catch 10 fish in 4 hours.
They've been in a funk, man. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if there's tons of fish on beds or just coming off, or it's some weird little transitional period. But gosh darn, man, some of these lakes here around the house have just been absolutely brutal the past couple of weeks. At least on me. I haven't definitely been able to figure much out, but
No, me neither.
yeah, regardless.
No, those ones up north though, they were fat and healthy, and I saw one little male guarding a bed, but I think we're just now moving in.
It's like those largemouth get to a certain length up there, like once they get like 15, 16 inches, and they just start getting fat.
Yep.
This well-built fish. All right, well, let's bring in Dean, man. Let's have a little fun tonight talking batteries.
There he is. Let's see.
Hello, folks.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, guys?
What is up, my friend? It's good to see your face.
Yeah, you too, man. I was talking about you guys today.
Oh no, is that good or bad?
No, it's good. It's all good.
Yeah, Owen said he stopped by boat things up there.
Yes, we were down there last Thursday. We stopped in to do some work on my 360. So
How's the new tackle store looking?
I tell you what, it's looking real good, and it's not good for me to go there.
I heard that.
Yeah.
There's worse addictions we could have.
Oh God, like I'm the worst guy with tackle. I buy everything and I see it seems like, and yeah, I can probably soon enough start a tackle store, and I don't have to buy any tackle for 5 years, probably.
It's what my nephew always tells me when he goes in my garage. He said, "You could
Really?
just start a
Yeah.
store."
Yeah. There you go. Oh, I don't have these fancy headsets like you guys do.
That's all right. We're just it's all show. We're just well, at least I'm a dumb redneck. Aaron's pretty smart, but
Aaron is a pretty preppy dude, I gotta say.
Yeah. Nah, these headphones, they're all for looks.
Oh my gosh. I think we're all rednecks. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just what
You can see my deer in the background there, so you know.
I like that. I like that. Is that a bow kill? Gun?
That is a shotgun kill, actually. Actually,
Nice.
muzzleloader.
Muzzleloader. Nice.
Yeah.
Deer drive?
Nope. In a stand.
Nice.
I don't usually shotgun hunt, but that year I did, and I just got lucky. But yeah, it's a nice deer.
What county you in?
Tuscarawas.
Tuscarawas. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Some big deer. There's a lot of turkey over there too.
Well, I don't turkey hunt, but my brothers do, and they said turkey hunt was pretty tough this year for them. Now, my partner that I fish with, Ivan, he's actually sitting over here on the couch. So,
Nice.
but anyway, they did real good. I think in certain areas it was probably better than others, but
yeah, they don't seem to gobble like they once did. Everybody says. I
well,
don't know what's
they
causing
definitely
it.
didn't. It didn't when I went hunting, so that's why I quit.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of theories of why that's happening. I'm not real sure, but
Yeah, raccoons, coyotes. I'm not sure what's going on, but
yeah.
these and then my brothers they go to Michigan and all these other states, and they're like, man, it's just a 1 day hunt and they're done. It's incredible, but here they said it was tougher for some reason. I don't know,
Well,
but
cool, man.
you got
You
it.
everything else been good? We was going to talk some batteries tonight and just catch
Yeah,
up with you, see how you been.
absolutely, man. Been doing real good. Fishing a little bit, not near as much as I'd like to, but we're fishing some, and
Same,
I
same.
I'm so busy with other stuff. It seems like I have so many commitments with Millertech this year that are like one-off things that we won't do again, but it kind of all falls in 2025.
Now,
So, you
is
know,
that all fishing related or just
well, most of it is. So the next deal that we got going on is the race at the Poconos.
okay?
Because I don't know if you guys know that we're doing some NASCAR stuff
Yeah,
Yep.
with
yep.
Front Row Motorsports and Noah Graxken, the number 10 car. I think we're doing 3 races that the car will be Millertech only. And then for the Pocono race, we're sponsoring the truck race Friday evening. So it'll be the Millertech 200 for the truck race.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So we have a great big display up there, like I don't know what we got, a 40 by 40 booth. And I got to drag my boat up there and put it in the booth and all that. You know how it
Nice.
works.
Dude,
Oh,
NASCAR
shucks.
races are a blast. I've been to
They
a
are. I
couple.
love them. I've been to quite a
Yeah,
few of them. I've been to Bristol a couple times, and that is just a riot down there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's crazy because the first time I went to Bristol, it was like these cars don't go very fast until you're in that little donut thing that they do. Well,
Right.
believe me, they're flying.
Yeah, that short track race, and that's actually where I've been a couple times is Bristol, and it's a
Yeah.
boy, it's a party, and it's just loud and entertaining. You don't get that effect on TV. That's for
No, you
darn
don't.
sure.
But loud and a party is 100%
Oh yeah,
correct.
it's a party.
It's a good
It's a
time.
party.
It's a good time. But so yeah, we're doing some stuff like that. ICAST in July. We're doing that.
Okay,
We're doing
okay.
ICAST this year.
But have
Uh,
you guys always done iCast?
no, this will be the first year that we're
It's a
doing it.
new, it's a new thing.
It's a
Okay,
new thing
yeah.
for us. Yeah. Um, and then from ICAST, we go back to Alabama to Timmy Horton's place for something that I can't really talk about just yet. But yeah,
Okay,
you'll see what that's all about. It'll be something pretty cool. A
Nice.
lot of people coming together for kind of a special little event with him. So it'll be a lot of
awesome.
fun.
Can't
Yeah.
wait.
That'll be YouTube only though.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll check it out whenever that comes out. But so yeah, a lot of stuff happening.
Well, I guess what we'd like to do is get you back on after that and kind of talk about it or kind of during it or
Absolutely.
sometime. And then we can kind of share the link and just kind of help spread the word and get it out
Absolutely.
there.
Well, I
Uh,
appreciate you guys having me on as well. And yeah, that would be a great one when I get done with all that 2 week span. Come back and then we'll do another one.
yeah.
And
Uh, well, let's jump into batteries.
absolutely.
So I guess everyone wants to know is why your batteries are the best.
Why
So
should we buy Millertech, right?
right. Um,
It's a
but let's
thousand
start.
dollar question.
Yeah. So let's start back. Let's kind of start at the beginning of kind of how Miller Tech came about.
Yeah.
Um, because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere up here in Northeast Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Geauga County.
and yet it's still seemingly everywhere now, even in NASCAR.
It is.
Yeah, it's
It's been
huge.
quite a ride from 7 years to today. How everything's worked. I'll tell you a quick story how it started. It was 7 years ago. Uh, Ike and me were in the process of buying some lithium batteries from another company in Florida. Long story short, we never got product. They had our money and everything, but we finally get our money back, and we're like, well, we're not doing that again. And we could never speak with anybody. We would, call and nobody would answer, and it's just a runaround, right? So we found Millertech, and we bought a battery off of Millertech, and that's how the whole thing started. Um, we threw that thing in the boat, used it for a year, not even knowing it wasn't even a starting battery, but that's what we used it for. The Millertech 100 amp hour battery. It had
And this
550 cold cranking amps in it. Yeah.
this was a lithium at this point too?
Yes, this was a lithium battery,
Okay.
and so we used it for one summer. And towards the fall, I told Ike, I said, "Listen, we could possibly, maybe we can sell these online because this, Lester's an Amish guy. He wasn't into bass fishing or boating or none of that kind of stuff. It was all mostly Amish stuff, Um, where he would convert, kitchen aid stuff and whatever, and then for solar for the Amish. That's where he was at. And so anyway, with the help of Dan Blackard from Fisherman Central and myself and Ike, we built a website and we started selling these batteries. I had some connections, in the bass fishing world, and that's where it started from. Yeah.
That's
Um,
crazy.
I remember about, I don't know, it was probably 4 months into it. And when you start something like that, you're always looking online to see what's going on and, see if there's any action, right? And I remember coming home one day and having an email from Fred Rambanis. And I was like, wow, we just made it because Fred Rambanis just emailed us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fred's been with us since that very first time that we spoke. Fred's been with us, and it just kept going from there. And here we are, 7 years later, and now it is what you see. Uh,
So so when you started searching for batteries, how many big battery companies would you say were on the scene at that time?
I think we called 4 different battery people, including Lithium Pros, Dakota, and one other one at that time. Uh, I remember like 4 of them. Maybe Battleborn was in there as well at that time. Gen 2 wasn't out yet. There's a whole bunch of different ones. I think within the first 2.5 years of us doing what we did, I believe we counted 20 other lithium battery company startups from the time we started to 2.5 years later.
Sure.
And I can
This,
tell you now, some of those companies are no longer, they're not in the boating world anymore at all.
yeah.
Um, but
How Dean was how was Lester how accepting was he to this idea that, fishing the fishing market could be a big avenue for him? Was he reluctant, or uh, how did that all work? Or was there a point when he's like, "Wow, you guys are showing me something here"?
yeah, no, he was not reluctant at all. He basically gave us free reign and said, do whatever you want to do. Uh,
Nice.
Basically, what we did is we became dealers, through the website is what we did. We were just a dealer for him. But he backed us at every corner and every turn. I mean, he did whatever. He was very supportive. And all of a sudden, yeah, he did exactly what you just said. He's like, wow, this can go somewhere. But on our end, for because I only did that with Ike for a couple of months, and then he backed out of it. And then I was by myself, but um, we needed to invest in advertising and so forth, right?
Yeah,
But me as a dealer, I couldn't do all that by myself. Um,
sure.
I was doing some of the pro staff stuff through my dealership, and believe me, you probably know it gets very costly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
A
we
lot of
got to
lot of
talking, and
mouths to
Lester,
feed.
yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
and Lester, he was not scared to spend some money, and that's what happened. So I did that for probably 4 years by myself. And then we got together, and he was like, why don't I buy the website, blah, blah, just to make things simpler. And he put up that big new warehouse up in Middlefield, and now we have everything in one warehouse, which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lester and Millertech were manufacturing batteries. You got your hands on one of the batteries, hooked it up where you shouldn't have hooked it up, was like,
Yep.
this thing's amazing anyways,
That's how it works.
became a dealer, and now here we are.
Here we are. It's exactly the truth. That's the way it worked. Yep. And when I told Lester what we did with the battery, he's like, dude, that's not a that's not a dual purpose battery, right? It was just a 100 amp hour lithium battery. Well, it didn't have starting, it didn't have cold cranking amps in it. And when I told him about it, um, and I still have the original battery in my basement that we bought that very first time.
Sweet.
I still
So,
have it.
was Miller Tech? I guess when you got involved, was it like a well-established, flourishing business, or do you feel like you guys were a big part in like the mass explosion that they've had over the past, say, 3 to 5 years?
Well, he was a very successful company in what he was doing. Very
Okay.
successful. So when we started the first 2 years, I think we were 25% of his whole business, and 75 was what he was doing prior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now, fast forward to right now, now we flipped that around to 75, 80% boating, camping, and bass fishing and so on. And what he was doing prior is now the 25%. We've turned that around.
Wow. That is
So that's
amazing.
pretty incredible.
Dude,
Well, and
that's yeah.
he was his whole business on that side of it was essentially just appliances, like you
Yeah,
said, battery, solar for the Amish community.
absolutely.
So his market was limited, and I mean, you just open that up to
We
entire
opened the
world
door.
now.
Yeah, and it happened relatively quick. Um, I mean, he's still. I mean, we have so much more than batteries, though. Like you said, appliances and all that kind of stuff. Um, and lighting as well. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but we have lighting to the point where we can light up a Major League Baseball field if we could get a
Wow.
contract for that. Yeah, we have that kind of lighting, LED lighting, DC lighting, and AC lighting. We have all that kind of stuff. Uh, yeah, he has some incredible products in his warehouse. Have you guys have never been to the warehouse, correct?
Yeah, I've been up there.
Yeah,
Aaron stopped by.
yeah,
In the part that I went to, um, it was there was one guy with this massive workbench just tearing apart batteries, and his whole job was warranty.
yep,
So he'd take a battery, figure out what was wrong with it,
yeah,
test it, swap the parts, ship it back out.
yep,
Um,
yeah. We will
it,
either fix your battery or send you a brand new one. It's that simple.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been pretty incredible. And I'm very blessed to just be part of it. You know what I mean? Um, it's been a lot of fun, and I get to do some really cool stuff, and get paid to do it. So that's cool.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
I
never
get,
home, are you?
well, it seems like I'm not. This year is a little bit of an exception. Like I said, we're doing a bunch of one-off stuff this year. Like ICAST, I don't know if we'll do that again, but we got to do it at least one time. And
You got to try
yeah,
it for sure.
yeah, we're going to put them. And I'll tell you, we're coming out with some new products at ICAST. I can't talk about them right now, but you'll see them in July, and we got some pretty cool stuff coming down the pipe. Yeah.
That's
So,
well,
killer.
I've got a couple ideas in this mad scientist head that I'll send over to you.
well, all you got to do is make a phone call, Aaron. You know that.
Yeah.
uh, we,
Uh,
we don't play our cards till we need to, Dean.
Yeah,
You know
I
how we are.
understand. I understand. You got to hold something back, right?
right. Can't
Yeah.
just give it all out for free.
Exactly.
Um, but
Oh, but no, it's been pretty incredible, and the best part about the whole thing is when you talk to someone, they get your product, and then they call you back or message you and thank you, and you know how amazed they are at how it works.
Yeah.
Um, that's the best part of the whole job, when you can put a smile on someone's face, and it's just awesome, and that happens a lot. I mean, you know, and then the customer service end of it, obviously. If there's an issue, call us anytime.
That's always been a huge thing. You hear with Millertech,
Yeah,
anytime you call, you're going to get someone. You
yeah,
guys build everything in house, right? As far as
yeah.
I'm concerned, and
We
repair
do,
and
and,
all that.
and so Sean Boggs. I don't know if you guys know Sean Boggs. Do you guys know him?
I know of him. I don't know him personally.
I should say back probably 5 years ago. Uh, I got with Sean, and Sean and me got together, and Sean has been an absolute blessing to this company. Sean has a lot of contacts as well, right, in the bass fishing world.
Hmm.
And Sean knows a lot of people. A lot of people know Sean, and Sean needs to be given a lot of props for you know for his part in bringing Millertech in the bass fishing world to where it's at today. Um, I don't know without Sean if we'd be exactly where we are today. Um, because Sean has been a tremendous asset, and he's a good dude, knows a lot of people, and he has helped. You know, he just knows a bunch of people. Um,
So is that more on the side of like network or research and development, or
no, networking, and
networking?
getting the product out to new people. Through Sean, we got Mark Zona and Kevin Van
Awesome.
Dam. So those two guys are now Millertech guys, 100%.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And that came kind of through Sean because Sean had some contacts, and they had contacts, and you have to have a network, Jesse. Both of you guys know how it works.
Yep.
The bigger your network is, the more you can expand your footprint.
Right. Right. Well,
Um,
and you gotta treat people good. Like
yeah,
people can smell out the BS pretty easy. So
boy, isn't that
you gotta
true
be
though?
genuine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to. It's the public is always right when you're dealing with the public, and and I love doing that. Everybody tells me, including the guy sitting right over here next to me, I never shut up. But I love to talk, and I can talk to people, and I love doing it. So
Yeah.
Dean, I want to dig into uh, the technology side of it a little bit.
absolutely,
Um, because I mean, prior to lithium, everyone was just using lead acid.
yep,
They weigh a ton.
yep.
So, uh, I guess what's the main difference? Like, what's so special about lithium batteries?
Well, I could go into a whole bunch of different things. So when I started with Millertech, all his batteries were cylindrical, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about. They were cylindrical cells, almost like a 3D battery, or like a D cell battery or whatever. Um, and now everything we have is prismatic, which is flat plated. Um, you asked what's so special about lithium. Number one, lithium stays current all the way across. It stays at 13.2 pretty much, boom, until it dies. Unlike your lead acids, you know how they do. They go down to 11.9, 10.9, and down they go, right? We all know that. Of course, the the lightweightness of them, that's a plus. The longevity of them, the charge time is a quarter of a lead acid battery, obviously. Um, on your electronics, everything is more crisp. Your trolling motor is more crisp on lithium because that stays. It stays at the same currency all the way across until the battery dies.
Yeah.
Um, that's just
And
some of the
and
benefits of the lithium.
I think probably the most important to me is it seems is the lifespan of the
Yep,
battery.
the
10-year
lifespan.
warranty, right?
We have a 10-year warranty that is not prorated in any way, shape, or form. It's a 100% 10-year warranty. And I'll add one more thing that our batteries have, which is Bluetooth as well. So you download an app on your phone, and then you can look at your batteries, monitor your batteries. And a lot of times, I think our fail rate is under 2% at this point, which is incredible for the amount of product we have out. But with the Bluetooth technology now, you can call our warehouse with your Bluetooth battery, and we have a guy up there. I can do it as well. I don't do it. Me and Sean don't do this kind of thing because you need to have one guy that's kind of dedicated to that kind of stuff. You get too many
Yeah.
people involved, and then it gets to be a mess, right?
Yeah.
But you can call Roman at the warehouse, and he can probably 99% of the time fix your battery right over the phone while you go into your Bluetooth app with him, and he'll tell you what to do.
Yeah. Or I'm sure
So,
at the least probably diagnose the problem.
well, we'll diagnose it within minutes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fastest you
See,
can open your phone, will diagnose it. And a lot of times we can fix it through the app. Not always, but a lot of times we can do that right through the app. Yeah.
wow,
So,
unreal.
with a 2% fill rate, like, do you guys have any idea or gauge of what? Well, let me back up. So, in the last handful of years, I mean, the market, like you said, is just flooded with ABC brand battery. I mean, like
Yep.
half these you can't even pronounce
Yeah.
or whatever. But um, do you have any idea what the fail rate is on other kind of non-branded batteries?
Well, I can't really speak for somebody else's product, but I will tell you, a guy called me last night. I won't mention the name of the company. He had some other lithium batteries in his boat, and they didn't even last him a year.
Mm,
And when I told him we have a 10-year warranty, that changed his mindset pretty quickly.
yeah.
Um, all our Bluetooth batteries, everything that we sell for boats and all that kind of stuff, those are all grade A cells. Everything is grade A in those batteries because you can make a battery with A, B, C, or D cells, whatever. And the further you drop down, the cheaper it gets, right? Uh, and
Okay.
the fail rates obviously go way up. We also do sell a Sprinter series battery, which is mostly used among the Amish, just for their light solar stuff and so forth. We don't sell those for boats or anything, but it's a battery that's about half price of our Bluetooth product. But then the warranty is only 3 years on that battery as well. So it's a big difference. You know what I mean? Um, and as far as other companies are concerned, there's some other lithium companies out there that are pretty good. I could mention some. I won't, but I know some people. I do know some other people in the industry that have companies, lithium companies. They're super people. I think what sets us apart from some of the other guys is our customer service, like you were saying, Jesse.
It
Um,
always goes back to that when I talk to anybody about you
yeah,
guys. It always goes back
that
to
is
the
a big
customer
thing.
service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'll answer my phone at midnight if I hear it ring if somebody has an issue, and I've done that. 11 o'clock at night, I've already done that. But you can ask my partner during practice days on the lake. I'm answering the phone, calling the warehouse for this, and calling this guy, and I'll do that kind of stuff.
Well,
Um, we just feel that's where we need to be
well,
Yeah.
available.
it's what it takes to do what you guys are doing, and like nobody, never heard a bad word spoken about Millertech or
Right.
Dean or anybody associated with you guys are just all good people doing good things, man.
Well, yeah, and we love what we do, and I tell you, I got to bring Sean up again. Sean gets a lot of these phone calls as well, and we just as a team we work together, and
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It gets hectic at times, but
yeah.
it's a good time because I also have another job that I do as well. So,
Right, right. Yeah, we're
um,
all hustling.
yeah, we're all hustling around.
We're
We
all
I think all
hustling.
three of us know how that works, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It don't come easy. For
no,
sure.
it doesn't.
Shout out, Sean, for sure.
Yeah, Sean is he's a big asset. Like I said, he's a big asset to this company and what we're doing. His network has been a big help. Yeah, for sure. Um, Aaron, back to your point, why our battery? Another thing about lithium, a lot of people ask this. Uh, they're learning and finding out now more because a lot of stuff is online and you can research it and whatever. But as far as like live scope, if we want to talk about, the bad word live scope, two bad words, I guess. but but everybody's doing it. But your screens in particular, whatever you're doing, side image, down imaging, all that stuff is way crisper because your volts stay up at 13 all day long, uh, and that is tremendous. Um, that a lot of guys will call me and say, "Wow, they did not realize how much of a difference that makes." Obviously, you need a good wire harness in your boat. Some people built their own, blah blah blah. There's all kinds of harnesses out there these days, but a good harness, a lithium battery, and look at your electronics, and it'll be a big difference.
Nice.
Now, Dean, are you running? I guess tell us what your setup is. Do you have a dedicated battery for electronics, a dedicated cranking?
I do not
Um,
have a dedicated battery, so I run the 190 the dual purpose battery. Um, but it comes off. it goes. It's on a separate wire harness. Boat Things in Columbus. I'll give them a shout out, obviously. Um, Great dudes down there, Dennis and Patrick and Nick and all those guys, Randy. They built their own harnesses. So they put a harness, they tore all my wire out, put me a brand new heavy duty harness in with a fuse box at the dash and one up front. So that's my setup on my electronics. It's not running through my circuit boards or anything like that. So I'm not getting any interference on that kind of stuff. On the trolling side, I run 236 volt 60 amp hour batteries in parallel. I have 3 batteries in the boat.
Wow. So, I mean, in reality, you probably cut 150 pounds out of the back of your boat.
Yeah, it's like taking a whole dude out of your boat when you go to lithium. That's the easiest way to explain it. You'll take one guy out of your boat. Yeah.
Wow.
I
It's
mean, is it
crazy.
true? I've heard, buddies will go fish and even live scoping for 8, 10 hours straight,
Yeah.
just on the trolling motor looking for fish, and they'll get off the water and plug it in and it'll still be at 90%. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely, or I've heard of guys going on 3-day fishing trips and, never charging, or like
Yeah.
that. That's unreal. Like, it's,
It's pretty
you know,
incredible. Ivan and me were on Portage Monday, and we're going up there again tomorrow. We fished all day Monday, probably close to 10 hours of fishing. I checked my batteries when I got off and I didn't run my live wells and all that stuff, but my dual purpose battery was at 97% and my trollers were at 93%.
Daggone. It's crazy. I
It's
wanted to,
incredible.
being kind of I don't want to call myself too dumb, but I'm kind of a guy that gets in a boat. I'm glad my trolling motor works. I'm glad my boat starts. But you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier the original battery didn't have any cold crank amps, and
Yeah.
maybe for a listener, um, you know, what is that exactly? Have they made a new battery now that does, obviously, or
Yeah.
what's the innovation side been there,
Well,
like from what to now?
so when you have a dual purpose battery, you incorporate, cold cranking amps into the battery, which our 190 has 1,500 cold cranking amps. The 135 has 1,000, same as our 100 amp hour starting battery. And it's just a simple thing that you add to the battery. It's just something in your BMS board that you incorporate into the battery, and it gives you starting capabilities. Um, a non-starting battery will have a burst at 5 seconds, right? So if it's got 550 cold cranking amps, just a normal battery, a lithium battery, 100 amp hour battery, it'll give you 550 cold cranking amps for 5 seconds. That's it. Just like a snap. You know what I mean? With the
Okay.
dual purpose batteries, we incorporate cold cranking amps into the battery through our BMS, and now we have a starting battery, a dual purpose battery. Yeah.
So the cells themselves aren't any different. It's just the electronics
It's
to
just
kind of tell it what
electronics.
to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's that simple. Yeah. Yep. You just gotta through the BMS. And then all our BMSs in our battery, if it's a 100 amp hour battery, we'll run a 125 amp BMS board in it. Our BMS boards are bigger than our amps on the battery. That is another thing that makes our battery a little bit better, I think, than some others out there.
Is there any issues with running them to zero with the BMS in it?
Nope, not at all. You can run them to zero, and our chargers will pick them right back up, and boom, you're ready to go. Our
Because
shut off. So we have a shut off. Our cutoff is at 10.5. When they get to 10.5, then they'll cut off.
okay, so you're
Which
never
is
truly at zero.
yeah, you'll have maybe 6 or 7% left, maybe or something, 5%, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Um, but when it gets down to 10.5 volts, and then the battery will cut off. And of course, all our batteries have overheat, underheat, overcharge, undercharge. All that stuff is on your Bluetooth. And if an issue should occur, you can open your app and it'll tell you right there pretty much what's going on. How many cycles your battery has and all this and that. Our batteries are 3,000 cycle batteries.
Wow.
So do the math on that, right?
So that's something I've never really heard at all. Like, are there a lot of lithium companies doing the Bluetooth stuff, or is that something you guys
Um,
kind of trailblaze? Or
no, there's another company out there that has it. Um,
okay,
we have another dealer that sells ours and theirs, um, and they have Bluetooth as well. Uh, we're not the pioneers of Bluetooth, but we worked on our Bluetooth for about 2 years before we brought it out to market because we would get a Bluetooth. The Bluetooth thing is simple, easy to get, right? Like snap of a finger, you can have Bluetooth. But most of them are not foolproof. So
okay.
Lester would work on it, get a different one made. Didn't like this, didn't like that. It took him about 2 years before he had one that he said, "Okay, here we go," and that's when we did it. It was about 2 years ago.
Interesting.
So, this is going to be two parts. Like, lithium batteries have just completely changed boating and fishing in the last half a decade. Um, but how has your life changed in this last 7 years? I mean, you're part of
Well,
something big, so
I
um,
know, and sometimes I got to pinch myself, and I tell people it's crazy. I get busy, and sometimes you're not sure what you're doing. The best thing I can say is I'm just blessed to be part of this because I would have never in my life dreamed 7 years ago when we started this that this is where it would go. This is where everybody would like it to go, right? I just didn't think we would go this far. I mean, to be where we are, I think we have 32 or 35. I have to recount pro staff members now in like the professional bass fishing world.
can
Um,
you name just 10 big names off the top of your head?
Jacob, Dustin, Jacob Wheeler, Dustin Connell, Mark Daniels Jr., Adrian Avina, Anthony Gagliardi, um, Kevin Van Dam, which he's not fishing anymore. And then we have Mark Zona. We have Fred Rambanis. We have Kyle Welsher. We have, there's so many. How many did I name?
Shryock.
Enough.
Uh,
Yeah, we have the
I
Shryock brothers,
Yeah.
both of them, Hunter and Fletcher. We got those
right,
guys.
right.
Um, we have, uh, I just named them all today with Sean. We were on the phone doing we're doing
Timmy
a thing.
Horton, I'm sure.
Yeah, Timmy Horton's one of our guys. Brent Ayler is one of our guys.
Oh my God.
It's
Just
all over the place. There's like
Well,
35 of them. We just named them all this afternoon because we had to make a list because we're doing headshots for a 30-foot banner for iFast. So
that's
well,
nuts.
and the reason I ask is just simply to point out the magnitude of Millertech.
yeah,
Like, you have the top names in the sport,
we do.
uh,
David
on the
Dudley.
team,
David Dudley is another one.
and it's simply incredible.
It is. There's probably a few more that I talked to through the Bassmat through the Classic and Red Crest. Um, we might add a few more next year. It always happens, but we do have a giant pro staff, and it's a lot to keep it all going. And then um, we have people that are on the road at all these tournaments, and they do all our video stuff for us, and they also have a battery system with them in case somebody needs something.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
that's
that's
customer support right there.
yeah, that's a big help for us. Yeah. Um,
Dude,
but the guys like Jacob Wheeler and Dustin Connell and all those guys, I mean, top notch dudes, man. I mean, they are.
right.
I mean, this is what they're like, just like you and me right here. Uh,
Yeah,
I've hung out with those guys many times, and it's just, yeah, they're just everyday guys. They're just very lucky, and they got where they are, and and they're very good at what they do too.
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm sure they move the needle for companies
Oh, they
just like
do,
yours.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And
yeah.
and and Jacob Wheeler is one of those guys that you know he's not the guy that's asking for the whole house to be brought in. Um,
Right.
Jacob is a very upstanding dude, man, and he's helped a lot. Yeah.
He believes in a product, and You know, he just he likes good stuff, and
He does,
like
and
you said, good dude.
he misses nothing on his boat. Jacob has something backed up on for everything on his boat. He has a backup.
Yeah, yeah.
Every
He's got lithiums in there that aren't even being used. They're just there in
Yeah,
case, right? From
yep.
what?
He's got two 135s and two 36 volts. That's what he runs. Then he has another 36 on a switch in case those two fail.
It's crazy.
It's pretty incredible.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe I guess all of us wouldn't have the luxury of having that, but like, say a guy like me, just a working Joe, wants to go all lithium,
Mhm.
and I have a 36-volt trolling motor. Like, what would you recommend? Maybe if someone's listening, that's just thinking about, like a good starter pack for a weekend angler.
Well, we have a package online. I believe it's called the Warrior package, which is a 135 dual purpose for your motor and everything else on your boat, and a 36 volt. So 136 volt, you can fish an 8 hour, 10 hour day, no problem, with just one.
Okay,
That is not a problem at all. I mean, I run two in my boat just because, I guess, because I can run two, I guess.
because you
But
can.
yeah, I
Right.
guess so. But you you uh you don't need two of them. You can run 130, so 136, 60 amp hour, 36 volt battery, and then a 135 and a dual purpose charger. Um, that's
Okay.
950, and you're looking at around 2,400 bucks.
Right. And you're getting rid of 3 lead batteries for
Well,
one
you're getting rid
36.
of four lead
4.
batteries because you got three on
4
your
lead.
boat. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
and
Yep.
a really heavy old charger too. A lot of these chargers
Right.
we have.
Yep. I was
So
trying to explain this to my uncle at Easter. He was asking me about batteries, and I
yeah,
instantly brought up Millertech, and he said, "Oh, I can't afford that. He's retired, fixed income,
well,
all that." And I'm like,
oh yeah, I
"Dude,
know.
it's a 10-year battery." So I literally got, we sat down we just after dinner,
Yeah,
BS around. We got out a pen and paper, and I showed him how it was cheaper over 10 years to
yeah.
just go with the lithium. So
Well, and
uh,
that's our warranty is 10 years, so the battery could go 15 years possibly.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
You just don't have enough. You don't just don't have
Oh,
15 years under your belt to prove it.
No,
Like,
we have 11 years under our belt right now.
right.
you just
So
have to look at it as an investment that's,
you do.
you don't have to
It is,
worry about.
and believe me, we understand when people call us. Um, some people, when they might have not looked at the website or whatever, and when you talk to them and you tell them some prices, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it," and that's okay because it is an investment, and they are not. It's not the cheapest product on the market, but yeah, in the long run, like what you said, Jesse, when you look at it that way, then it makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah. 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 Long
Absolutely,
term, it does.
it
Yeah,
does.
I think so. So I don't do the best at taking care of my batteries. But since I've owned my boat, I would say about every 3 years I'm replacing batteries.
Yep, that's about right.
And
Yep.
so at 600 to 800 bucks every 3 years, like Jesse said,
This is
in
the
10
exact
years.
math we did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how it
So
works. Yeah, and in
Right.
the long run, it's definitely they're game changers. They really are. They just it's so much easier. They're lightweight. They're very efficient. They charge up really fast. If you practice for a tournament day, you come in, you plug your boat in when you come in, you get your tackle ready and eat dinner. Your batteries are charged, ready to go. That's how fast they charge.
That's
well,
that's
and we've only talked about like bass boats, but for the guys that listen that have kayaks,
Hmm.
it's even more of a game changer with
We
all
have
the
a
electronic
lot of kayak
outfitting.
guys. Yeah.
Um, and so, I mean, so I just got a kayak this year, and
Mhm.
uh, I mean, I probably put 200 pounds of gear on that thing already.
Absolutely.
Uh, and I don't even have batteries on it yet.
You better call me.
Uh,
You better make a phone call, Aaron.
he
Right,
can't get out of the bass boat to use a kayak now, so
That's the
right,
he's
problem, right?
right.
Do you have a trolling? Do you have the motor on the back?
I've got a bow mount trolling motor on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I put a 24-volt motor guide on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got 24-volt batteries, 36-volt batteries. We got the whole range.
So, one thing I'm curious, you mentioned the package that came with the charger.
Yep.
Is that charger proprietary for your batteries? Like, can you use any charger, or does it have to be a Millertech charger?
No, it doesn't have to be a Millertech charger, but it has to be a lithium charger. And
Okay,
all 12-volt lithium chargers have 14.6.
okay,
So you need 14.6. Yeah, a lithium charger is pretty much a lithium charger. You don't need ours. But when you go 12 and 36, we have an onboard charger that is that way. It's a 1236 charger. One side's 36, the other side is 12.
okay. So, if
So
guys already have a newer charger built into their boat,
yeah,
that could save them on the cost of the
absolutely.
package.
And I will also tell you the Minn Kota, not the Minn Kota Precision, not the digital, but the Minn Kota Precision on AGM will charge our batteries. But a lot of the new Minn Kotas have a lithium bank on it as well now. So, but yeah, any existing lithium charger or AGM charger will charge our batteries.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is probably a dumb question, Dean, but like, if a lithium battery goes dead, can you jump it just like you like with a jumper cable, just like a
Yes,
lead
yes,
battery?
you can. Just the same way as you would jump your car. Yep.
Does it have to be jumped by another lithium battery?
No. Mm-mm.
It can be
Nope.
jumped with anything. Gotcha.
Yeah, with anything.
Um,
Yep.
I, kind of a one more question. Like, I guess, are there any negatives at all, like that, are known to be lithium negatives? I
Like
guess.
batteries exploding, or
Yeah.
Uh,
Is there
yeah.
anything at all that's bad about, like, people could say that's bad about going lithium?
I'll go to the exploding part first. Our batteries are not lithium ion; they're lithium iron phosphate. So no explosions, no fires. You can actually go to our YouTube channel. Might have to scroll down a little bit, but there's a video where we shoot our batteries. Um, we shoot a lithium ion bicycle battery. That thing explodes like crazy. Then we shoot our battery, the iron phosphate battery, and it's nothing but just a puff of smoke, and that's it. That's all it is. So ours is iron phosphate, 100% more stable than lithium ion. So like our phones get hot when we use them a lot,
Yeah.
That's lithium ion. Um, our batteries are not lithium ion; they're iron phosphate. Which is 100% more stable. So no worries
Okay.
about fires or explosions or none of that stuff. Um, Going to the negative, the one negative that I would say that people ask me about is lithium needs to be 32 degrees in order to be charged. Um,
Okay.
when they go below 32, so my boat's in a heated garage, but let's say it's 20 degrees out and I'm going fishing. So when you start your outboard, you're obviously going to charge. So that doesn't affect it. But if you come back from a day of fishing, or if your boat's sitting outside, I've got this phone call quite a few times in the spring. Guys will call me and they'll be like, "Man, it's 45 or 50 degrees today. I took my tarp off my boat and plugged them up, thought I charged my batteries up. But here's the problem. Our plates in there, they're steel and chrome plates. So when those things get cold, it needs more than one day to warm up to temperature, right? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
as soon as I tell them that, then they're like, "Oh, okay." They think as soon as it's 50 degrees, but that issue really, it's not a big problem at all. Um, we just haven't had just that's been very minimal on that part. I will tell you, I think I can say this on this podcast. I don't know when this is coming out, but we are actually coming out with a heated battery.
Oh,
So
awesome.
our batteries will have heaters in them, and they will only start heating when that charger gets plugged in. lot of the heaters that are in batteries nowadays, that heater is always drawing power from that battery 24/7. I got to be careful what I say, actually, probably. but but yeah, you get the gist.
We'll just leave it at that. You got
We'll
a
leave
cool
it at
product
that.
Well,
coming out.
We're getting heated battery. So
I wanted to ask you, Dean, like say just a guy here in Ohio, then like through the winter time, if he doesn't have a heated garage, do you just charge it before the temperature gets below freezing and just
yep,
unplug it all winter until it
yep.
gets warm
That's
again?
another thing. I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked that because as far as unplugging, another good thing about a lithium battery, it doesn't need to be maintained on a charger at all times. So I'll charge my batteries up when I'm done. I'll unplug them and go fishing the next time. I won't hit them at all. They don't need to be maintained over the winter. If when like here in Ohio, like we are. When you're done in the wintertime, you come home the last time, charge them up, and you leave them till spring. Um, one way to heat up your batteries if you want to go when it's still cold out is like a heating blanket, from Walmart, a $30 heating blanket. Plug it in and throw it over the back of your batteries and leave it on there for a day, and your batteries will be good to charge up. That'll heat
Yeah.
them up enough to where you can charge
Does Millertech sell a heated blanket yet?
them. We don't, but I think we should.
Yeah. Make it
Yeah.
so it's a little box
Like
that's over top.
Now
some of
that
our
might be a
pros,
fire hazard.
that might be.
Right.
But guys that use heated blankets, in severe cases, which doesn't happen often, and they've also used like heat lamps and stuff, put them in the back.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
and
turn the heat.
that doesn't sound like an issue with the batteries. That just sounds like just being educated on your
It is,
product and
yeah. Like I
knowing
said,
what you're looking for.
I've ran them for 7 years, and I haven't had a problem with that kind of stuff at all. As far as charging, I mean, in the springtime when we're fishing, we go to tournaments and we fish, and it's 35 degrees all day. Your batteries are in your boat. We come in and I plug them up and they charge fine. So I mean, they like to be 32, but that issue has never been a serious problem. Yeah. So
Nice.
it's nothing. It's nothing that should deter anybody from buying a lithium battery, and that is with any lithium. I don't care where you buy it. It is any lithium company. Any lithium needs 32 to be charged. But now, since we're coming out with a heated one, that should fix that problem.
Nice.
So yeah. Uh,
So how much fishing do you get to do with all this travel? Like, cause you're pulling your boat everywhere, right? Do you get to fish
well,
some cool spots?
yeah, I wasn't going to fish any of the circuit stuff here in Ohio this year. Normally, I would fish X Series and lakes. We did that for many years, those two circuits. This year, I decided not to do either one of them, just do opens and all that kind of stuff, and do some BFL stuff. And even my schedule is screwing up my BFL schedule. So um, we did fish a lakes trail at Mosquito Lake a couple of weeks ago. Um, and on the way back, we were looking at the schedule, and I told Ivan, I said, "Hey, I think I can do some of these, and so we're going to do some lakes trail stuff, uh, enough so we can go to Chautauqua and fish a championship in the fall.
You like your Chautauqua, don't you?
I love my Chautauqua. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. You
I've done
got
very well at Chautauqua, and it's a lot of fun. It can be very tough at times too.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
depends on the weather. In the fall, when you go up there in September, late September, early October, it's a different world up there, man.
Well,
Uh,
you better call me when you got to go up there by yourself for a day or two to practice because I'll be heading
Well,
your way.
we can make that happen.
yeah.
You know it. I'm tired of
I was
talking
hoping to
about it,
take.
Dean.
I know we talk about it, and I was going to take it to Mosquito, but Mosquito's not fishing that great right now.
That's what I've heard. It's been a little
It's
stingy. How's
no,
Portage?
it's well. You have to bring up Portage, right? Because that's
This won't air for 2 weeks if you're just hammering them right now. So
I'm not. I mean, we did pretty good. We did pretty good Monday. We caught some decent fish Monday. I mean, if I could have five of the biggest ones we caught Monday, I'd be very impressed. But
nice.
Portage has been one of those lakes that I haven't. People come in with these 18 to 20 pound bags, right?
Yep.
And the fish are in there. and I have in 10 years I have not broke that code. I have cashed, I think, in third place once. Won a couple smaller tournaments on there, but this big stuff, against these big hammers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we might be onto a little something right now. So we'll see how things play out. That tournament is on Sunday, so we're going to
Nice.
go up.
You're practice mode right now.
I'm in
Yeah.
practice mode, and I'm taking advantage of every day I can get right now.
Lot of
Well,
fish
Chris,
still spawning. I'm sorry,
No,
Aaron.
no, a lot of
Everything's
beds are
done.
empty. Beds are
Gotcha.
empty.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
they're pretty much garden fry
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I might have to put one of your baits to work. You never know.
Oh, I'd love it if you did. I'd
You
love it
you
if.
probably you can probably figure out which one if I tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a few guys catching some
Yep.
fry garters, but
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
I
So,
haven't I haven't hit it right. But yeah.
well, we saw a bunch of fry in an area up there Monday, and we caught a few decent fish in there. So we're going to go expand on that. And the thing about Portage Lakes is you almost have to commit to like one or the
One
other side
section
of
of the
that
lake.
because the travel time between, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to go all the way up to east, I mean, that's a haul. That's 40 minutes up there.
So you'll waste your day idling around basically.
Well, you idle everywhere you go. So if you stay
Yeah.
down in Turkey Foot, you got Turkey Foot mud, wrecks, and all that kind of stuff. You can fish all that in one day. But man, when you go all the way up and west and east, and oh man, I mean, it's
You're there. You're committed.
well, you should commit to one side or the other, yeah. Because if you're going to plan on fishing half a day and then coming back, you're going to waste an hour and a half of fishing time.
Well, for those listening that don't know, Portage Lakes is essentially just a big pleasure boating, fishing
It is.
community, and
Yep.
the entire lake is essentially idle only with two
Yep.
little ski zones.
Yep. East
Uh,
has got a little tiny ski zone in it, and then of course Turkey Foot. So
yeah, and to get from one end of the lake to the other, they're essentially just a bunch of little lakes connected
yep.
by channels. And,
Yep.
um, but
Believe me,
it can be a fun place to fish.
it's got giants in there, and I just haven't cracked the code. I think my biggest bag at Portage ever was like 15 pounds one time. Uh, and I don't know if we just got lucky or what. We caught all our fish in one area, but that was the one and only time. And I that's just a lake that I haven't cracked yet. It's been many many years, and I still haven't cracked it. I'm not sure why, but
No, I live 20 minutes from there, and so I fish it quite a bit. And
right.
um, I had a tournament 2 years ago, I think,
Hmm.
last year or the year before, I don't know. But I f- I figured out some good bites at about 1 o'clock,
Hmm.
and I went back the next day just to basically prove that theory. And I probably had about an 18-pound bag
That's good stuff.
You're
Yeah.
from doing
you're
it.
probably not as far away from figuring that out as you think, Dean. You got to be around them.
Well, the
Well,
problem is you're always around them, but there's just so much to fish. It's all
it's
weeds and docks, and being able to dissect kind of
yeah. That's the
where
thing
they're
about it.
setting
It's
up.
mind-boggling, and it's these little tiny areas too. Um, it's these little tiny areas within an area, and I think
Is it
90% of the time I'm scooting right over it.
is it kind of like mosquito, where if you find a wad of better ones, there seems to be some more better ones
Yep,
with it, or and
that's what
then
I've heard.
find the cookie
Yep,
cutters. There's more cookie cutters with. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But Portage,
interesting.
but their cookie cutters are big. I mean, these guys, Trevor and Joe and all these guys from up there, they're
Yeah,
hammers on that place.
yeah,
The guys
yeah.
from
Good
Fishing
catch.
Central and stuff, but a
Yeah,
good group of people, man. They're great guys, and Trevor's an awesome dude. But yeah, so he'll be up there Sunday fishing it.
yeah.
So that's one guy we got to beat.
Yeah.
Good competition is what makes it fun.
Oh yeah,
So
I mean, it's just it drives me crazy. Like I won everywhere else, but over the years, me and my partners have won, but not on Portage. I just
that's why
that
we
thing.
have garages full of fishing baits, Dean.
I
Right.
know everybody's selling all kinds of baits, right?
No, but I
Oh
mean,
man,
that just kind of proves what Whitney and Dustin said in earlier episodes about uh, Dean. You're just you're just out there trying to beat the fish and figure it out. Like
Yep.
if you can do that, Trevor's Trevor, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't
No,
really
I'm not
matter what
scared
he's
of Trevor.
fishing.
I'm just saying he's a good stick up there, but
Yeah,
you just got to fish against the fish, not anybody else. Yeah,
yeah.
you can't. Um, but like I said, I don't know what it is about Portage Lakes. I don't know. So far, it has had my number, and I'm hoping my partner he can pull me out of that rut. Hopefully,
Yeah. Well, you just called him out.
I did,
So
and he's sitting there.
that's
No, I
awesome.
enjoy it. It's a puzzle, and you got to put the pieces together. And I have caught some good fish in there, but not a consistent to put a bag together. Um, and so we'll figure it out. I'm excited for tomorrow morning. We're going to go out and see if we can't catch a few, and
Cool.
Nice.
and go from there. And if you got secret baits, you need to send me secret baits.
No, I I
I'm
could
just
sure
kidding.
try. I don't want to confuse you anymore. I'm
Yeah, well, you know
confused
what?
myself right now. I've had
What?
a rough one this spring. Couple really good ones, a couple really bad ones. I just can't.
Well,
The
we've had a
consistency
couple good
isn't there.
ones, and we really haven't fished much other than Mosquito the first couple tournaments, but that place is not the same, man. I tell you what, that place is a complete different animal this year for some reason.
Is it from the killing of the grass? You think that's changing it, or
I got a couple theories. One is the grass, obviously, yeah, because
really?
when that hydrilla came in there in the last, I'm going to say 8 to 10 years, that lake just got better and better and better. And then last
Yes.
summer, boom, they killed it all. And there's a couple other theories that I could throw out there. I won't right now, but you probably can figure it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think the fish are still there?
Not all of them. I don't think so.
Really?
No, I think a lot
Interesting.
of those fish went to Joggy County.
Really?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea about this theory. Are you thinking someone's taking them out of there, and is like the state
Yeah.
doing it, or you think?
No,
No, it's
people are
not the
eating them.
state. People are eating them.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
gotcha.
cleaned the walleye out to the point where they couldn't catch them anymore. Now they're on the bass, and they've been doing it for 4 years plus. And
Yeah,
we've
and it's
seen
not
them.
hard to catch a bass in there. It
Well,
sucks.
no, and they've been watching us for 5 years, and they decided they can do that too. And we have watched. Believe me, they just everyone in the coolers, man. That's where they go. There's
Yeah.
three and four
No,
in a
I've
boat,
seen it.
and there's 10 boats in one area.
Yeah.
So
And
you do
six
that
people
times
on a
four
boat.
years and see what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I
two and
will
3 pound.
say,
Go ahead.
uh,
Yeah. It's a
I will
shame.
say that the crappie up there that I was catching a couple weeks ago were huge.
Yeah, the crappie fishing is real good still. Of course, I'm friends with Rich Chapman up there, which who he lives on the lake, pretty much, and yeah, he does real good on crappie still, absolutely.
Mm.
But I think when you do what we have seen in the last couple of years going on in there, plus killing all the grass, we got exactly
Mm.
what we got coming to us
Yeah.
because you
Well,
can't do it.
it's a perfect storm too, because when they kill
Yep,
all that grass, it really condenses those fish,
yep.
to the few good areas that are still
Mhm.
left. And once you find them, dude, it's filling the
And when,
cooler up.
listen, and believe me, when they find him, there's 10 boats on him.
Yeah, that
And they're
sucks.
all going
I
in the
hate to
cooler.
hear it.
Every
I
single one
hate
is
to
going in
hear
the
it.
cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's not
And
cool.
that's just bad. I mean, and you want to talk to them about it, they won't even look at you. Like
No,
it's a
no.
non-starter. So
No, and
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
state
there's a
doesn't, the state doesn't help us out. The state has never done anything for bass fishermen.
right.
Um, I just wish we could come together as anglers. I don't know. Maybe we should be more vocal and go to these
Yeah,
meetings and show up and just raise holy Cain in there and tell them what do you think you're doing. And maybe
right.
we should do that. And we probably don't do that enough because they certainly don't do anything for bass fishing in Ohio.
Right. Well, it's tough, man, because there's a local fella here that's on the wildlife council, and I give him these grapes constantly, trying to bug his ear to,
Yeah.
bug the meeting. And he says that every meeting they have, I think they have a 3 minute, kind of an open mic for a guy like me or you to come vent our
Yeah.
frustration. But the fear I have as a guy that really loves fishing bass tournaments is, number one, I think a lot of those politicians don't understand or care our passion or understand how much it drives local economies. But I feel like it's a double edged sword because they could also take away from us, restrict the tournament, the ramps down to, you know, 20 boats per tournament, just giving examples.
Oh,
But like, if you raise too much of a ruckus, it
yeah.
could hurt us too. So it's a really tough spot to like try to
It's a tough
voice your
spot to be in.
frustrations.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I understand the aspect of fish aren't just a resource for bass anglers and guys that target bass recreational or in tournaments. Um, I mean, there's nothing that says you can't eat a bass. It's kind
Right.
of an
No,
unwritten
no.
rule for bass anglers.
Absolutely.
But but again, like you said, when you see the population diminishing at the rate that it is on certain bodies of water, like
Yeah.
at some
Right.
point they have to step in and do something.
Well, I
Yeah.
have seen that. I've seen that happen in other bodies of water concerning the same group of people. So I know how fast they can do something like that. Um,
Yeah.
that's not the first time I've seen stuff like that, if you know what I mean. Um,
Yep.
Right.
and I think it should be regulated to a certain point. But yeah, there's nothing that says you can't eat a bass. Um, and I'm sure it's good to take some of them things out of there sometimes. Um,
Well, I I feel like too, like they're not just keep like a lot of what I've seen with my own eyes. Number one, they're not keeping the proper size limit, and they're
right.
probably exceeding the bag limit.
Yep.
And I'd say if the local game warden authority just made an example a couple times, but it's almost like if we're talking about the same group of people, they get like a free pass,
Oh, yeah. They
or
do.
something. And I don't understand why that is, but I was really frustrated just this spring at Seneca Lake fishing around a bridge, and a guy threw. It's a 15-inch lake, and I saw him throw two or three, 10 to 12 inch bass in a 5 gallon bucket in a matter
Oh,
of, just dipping a live minnow in there. And
yeah. Yeah.
I just don't get it. Because
It's
they should
frustrating.
care. They should care about the resource, but I think there's an education gap there that, um, you
There's an
know,
education
they
gap,
need
and then there's
informed.
also
Um,
there's an education gap. You're correct, and then there's also um, a few other things. I'll just leave it at that.
right,
But
right,
yeah, I've been around that kind of stuff, and it's tough to watch, and but it happens so fast.
yeah.
And if
Changed my
you,
mood completely. It made my heart sink just getting on
it
this
does.
topic.
Well, just like mosquito, for example, 4 years ago, you didn't see those people fishing for bass at all. I mean,
No.
Yeah. They're just
nobody.
out in the middle drifting for walleye.
Yeah, they were trolling and drifting for walleye, and then just like that, boom. In the last, I would say 3 to 4 years, there was just an explosion. There's been
Right.
areas in the last couple of years that we went in to fish. We couldn't even go in and fish them. It was loaded with those kind of boats,
Yeah, they've figured it out.
and they were all going in the cooler. We've seen it with our
Yeah,
own eyes. Yeah,
crazy.
it's unbelievable. So it's frustrating. What do you do about it? That I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. But like you said, Jesse, it's a double-edged sword. They could look at us and be like, well, we just if it's that bad, we'll just limit the number of boats in your tournament
Right.
or whatever. There's a lot of things they could do
Right.
to us. So
Yeah, they seem to go to the right to the just most ignorant
they do.
ideas. And
Yeah,
I think there's an education gap on the political side as well. A lot of
there
these
is.
people that are calling the shots, like, unfortunately, just uh, you know, aren't rednecks like us that know the
No,
end. That we know the lake, but like the back of our hand. And
yeah,
uh,
they have
just
no clue.
no, and it's not their fault.
No,
But Yeah, maybe we can do something bigger eventually, man. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I think discussions like this need to be had. I think
I
it's
think so.
important to talk about this stuff because that's the only reason more. Maybe someone will hear this, and a couple more guys will say, "Dude,
Yeah.
I've been seeing the same thing." Like, so maybe we can make a difference eventually.
Maybe,
But
yeah, maybe we can make a couple more people talk about it, and maybe it'll go. Because if
yeah,
somebody would go somewhere to a meeting, I would be willing to show up. I mean,
right,
I would.
and I don't want people to take it the wrong way. Like we don't want them we don't want them not bass fishing. It's not
No,
that.
no,
It's
no,
just
no.
understanding that it's a precious resource,
It's a precious
and there's
resource. If
there's
you, yeah,
there's other species of fish that get stocked in these lakes every year that you can
yep,
target and eat. And like you said, bass is a one thing they don't care about. They
yep.
stock muskie, they stock saugeye, they stock crappie. The one economy driving guys spend and blow thousands and thousands of
Yeah,
dollars every year at hotels and stores and gas stations, and it's the one fish they don't
it's
help us
their
with.
biggest money maker that they never stock the lake with.
Right, right.
Simple.
And they have arguments for a lot of these, like these fisheries down this way. They just say, they'll just flush down the spillway in these little flood control lakes and this and that. But
Right.
like, oh, well, they're going to end up somewhere. Like the Ohio River needs more bass in it too. So I mean, it's just
Like stock mosquito and let them flow down to the Ohio River.
That's it.
yeah,
There you go. Stock mosquito and let's go, buddy. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
But no,
Either way,
it's an interesting conversation for sure.
yes, it is. I'm
And
I'm
and,
glad
and
it,
we
I'm
should
glad
talk
we
about
talked about it. Like, yeah, because it's. I mean, and we're three guys that can talk about something
it.
like that
Absolutely.
and kind
Yep.
of, you know, you hope there's a way to maybe figure it out before it's
Yeah.
because if something like this goes on for 10 years, well, then it takes another 10 years to turn it all back around. And
Oh,
then
absolutely.
we've just lost 20 years of good fishing. So,
Yep.
um, hopefully we
Right.
can, you know, get something going. I don't
Yeah,
know.
hopefully we got a listener that has some kind of connection and we can get them on here talking about
Yeah.
Yeah, you never
those
know who
kind
might hear this, and that's the great part about doing these kind of things. So,
Right.
um, if we can if we can urge somebody to do something, that'd be great. But
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
then, we'll keep fishing.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We'll keep coming
Well.
in with our 8-pound bags.
And try
Yeah.
to figure out portage.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! So
Well.
we're
Yeah.
gonna do it tomorrow, and maybe I don't know, maybe Saturday even. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, the weather's supposed to be great, so
It is, yeah. It's supposed to
yeah.
be pretty nice. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. But
Yeah. Well.
aside from that, everything else is good, and yeah,
Yeah.
go from
Well, man, we'll let you get off here and get you some rest. We truly appreciate you coming on here and supporting us in all the ways you have. And you're a stand-up
well.
dude. So
So are so are
thanks
both of
for
you
coming on.
guys, and if you need anything, all you gotta do is call.
Yep.
It
Well,
goes both ways.
first off, we need you guys back at the Great Lakes Fishing Expo.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so guys, if you don't want to wait till January to pick up some batteries, or you want to spend some Christmas money, then wait till January. But yeah, we'll throw a link up on here,
Yep.
how you guys can find the batteries and where to get them and all that.
Yep.
But otherwise, you can check them out in person at the Great Lakes Fishing Expo. And Dean, it's always a pleasure, buddy.
I
So
appreciate you guys. Same likewise to you guys, and we'll get into boat together some one of these days. I
Yeah.
promise we'll do it.
Yeah.
well,
Uh, I missed your call last week. I was hoping that's why you called me, but we played phone tag there a couple
We
times.
did.
But
We were playing, and I forget what I even wanted back
I heard you were hunting some jig heads. Owen called me, said he
then.
was
Yes,
talking to you up at boat things. So
I got.
we'll,
I
we'll,
got.
we'll get you set
Yeah.
up.
Hey, listen. Jesse, I need some of the new Mini Max or
Yeah,
whatever they're.
that's what I heard he was hunting down. We'll
Yeah,
get you hooked up. I got a
yeah,
couple other things I need to get to you anyways, but
yeah. I
uh
want to try that because that looks like a bad, nasty little jig head.
yeah, it's a cool little jig head. All those Ohio State kids are, those kids
They're
that are
loving
really
it.
good with live
Yeah, and
scope there.
listen, I'll be calling you, Jesse, too, because I got a place up here. I feel like you should put some product in. So,
Let's
um,
do it, man.
yeah, I got a
Let's
place
do
up
it.
here, maybe even two. Um, but I think one for sure. And you come up here one day, I'll go around with you. We'll go meet
Yeah,
some people.
let's
Yeah.
do it.
And,
I wanted to mention too, real quick. Aside from that, guys, like Millertech has an awesome YouTube page and has a really good video of a factory tour that kind of validates everything we've talked about tonight. So go check that out. It's kind of an eye-opening video of like what they're really doing there. So um, yeah,
and also Facebook and Instagram. Follow us on there. Check
yep,
us out, both
yep,
places.
Yep.
So,
And
cool.
we'll provide links for everything.
okay. I
To make
appreciate
it
that.
easy on you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good
Um,
talk, man. Good talk.
yeah, absolutely. Both you, Jesse and Aaron, appreciate you guys, and we will stay in touch for sure.
All right, Bubba. Hey, good luck fishing this week.
I'm going to go try and unlock that place up north a little bit.
There you go.
You got it, guys. Hey, you guys have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
You too.
Dean.
You got it, buddy. I'll see you.